Next on WVUA 23, we are almost done with this wet weather and looking toward a nice weekend.
A high police presence in Tuscaloosa over the weekend prompts concern and outrage from city leaders.
And we have new updates on the Baltimore Bridge collapse. Find out when the river may open. Once again, WVUA 23 News starts right now.
This is WVUA 23 News.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Mauricio Gomez.
And I'm Kennedy Payne. Our top story tonight. Police are working multiple cases following a violent and deadly weekend in Tuscaloosa. 4 people were shot and 1 person is dead, all in the same day. We spoke with residents and city leaders about this weekend's shootings. Now city leaders are urging residents to focus on conflict resolution rather than gun violence.
First of all, let me say that as a city leader, I'm outraged. I'm really concerned because losing the life of one person, whether that person was shot or the person that's doing the shooting, that's a total of 2 persons whose lives have been changed forever. Families' lives have been changed forever.
District 1 Tuscaloosa City Councilman Matthew Wilson is speaking of the recent gun violence in Tuscaloosa over the weekend. 30-year-old Terrell Devontae Williams is in custody after a homicide that happened in the Holt community Sunday. Around 2 a.m., officials responded to a call where they found 35-year-old Jakiria Rashad May had been shot multiple times. Authorities transported May to DCH, but he did not survive his injuries. Williams has been charged with 1 count of capital murder, which arises from the fact that the victim was shot and killed in the presence of his 10-year-old daughter. Just hours later, 3 people were shot at the Texaco gas station on McFarland Boulevard. Police identified the suspect as 27-year-old Jayshawn Reed. Reed was charged with 3 counts of attempted murder and 1 count of shooting into an occupied vehicle. All 3 victims are expected to survive. Many residents say they feel safer living closer to the University of Alabama because of the high police presence.
So being near Tuscaloosa, being near the college, I personally feel really safe, but sometimes when I step a little farther outside of it, driving that 10-15 minutes out, I do feel a little nervous, and especially hearing something like that. I didn't even know those shootings were happening, and then hearing people talk about it, it brings up quite, it scares you.
Councilman Wilson urged the residents of Tuscaloosa to take gun safety more seriously.
When people get guns and utilize them, please know what you're doing. Our community does not need any more homicides. Our community is a great community. Tuscaloosa is a great place to live. It's a great place to shop. It's a great place to go to school. It's the city of champions. And we don't want gun violence.
There have been a total of 6 homicide investigations in Tuscaloosa so far this year.
A woman is safe tonight after she told police she was being held against her will at a local hotel. It happened at Old English Inn Hotel off University Boulevard East Saturday morning. According to our partners, the ABC 3340, Tuscaloosa police said the SWAT team was brought in after the woman said 60-year-old Robert Eatman would not let her leave. The SWAT team tried talking to Eatman, but when he stopped responding, they made their ways inside the hotel and arrested him. The woman was not injured. Eatman has been charged with second-degree unlawful imprisonment.
A deadly shooting took place this weekend at a shopping mall in Florida. An on-duty security guard was shot and killed after trying to break up the bar fight. WVUA 23's Rachel Seal has more on the investigation and what police are saying led to the incident. Rachel.
Kennedy, 2 people were killed and 7 more were injured during an early morning shootout at Doral Mall last Saturday. Doral is about 30 miles west of Miami. Police say a fight broke out around 3:30 in the morning at the Martini Bar located inside the City Place Doral Outdoor Mall. A security guard tried to intervene but was shot and killed. Officers who were working at the bar then shot and killed the gunman. Officials say 6 bystanders and 1 officer were injured in the shooting. 2 of the injured remain in critical condition.
The security guard that was working intervened, and that's when the subject produced a firearm and shot and killed the security guard.
The injured police officer was treated and later released from the hospital. The authorities are investigating the shooting. Kennedy?
Thank you, Rachel. The shooting comes just 1 year after police trained for an active shooter drill at the mall. Mercedes employees in Tuscaloosa are set to vote on joining the United Auto Workers Union. More than half of the facility's 5,000 employees signed on to the bid to unionize. That paves the way for the plant to file a Friday petition asking the National Labor Relations Board to hold the vote. Unionization will require the support of 50% of the workers, plus one vote to pass. This is the second auto plant in the South to hold a vote on unionizing. A Tennessee Volkswagen factory is already set to a vote over the course of 3 days in mid-April. The Alabama and Tennessee factories are two of roughly a dozen automotive plants the UAW is trying to organize in southern states. Millions across North America experienced a nearly once-in-a-lifetime celestial occurrence Monday as the moon crossed paths with the sun. The day turned into night.
Reporter Ivan Rodriguez spent the day in Caryville, Texas in a half of totality for the historic solar event.
A breathtaking cosmic event witnessed by millions of Americans from as far south as Texas to the Midwest and the Northeast. Awe on the faces of children and adults alike as the moon blocked the sun, briefly casting the earth in darkness.
Day turns to night. Animals start to behave differently. We're seeing changes in the Earth's atmosphere. It's a mystical, mysterious experience.
It's an event as rare as it is beautiful, with the sun's corona visible only to those lucky enough to be in the path of totality.
We're the only planet in the solar system that this is true for. The apparent size of the moon in our sky is the same as the apparent size of the sun in the sky.
In the hours leading up to the eclipse, communities hosted parties to celebrate their geographic good fortune.
It'll be amazing.
A once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, that's for sure.
Scientists taking advantage of those precious 3 to 4 minutes to unlock more clues into our planet and beyond.
Better understanding what's happening at the corona at the start of the action helps us to not only model and predict what could happen in the future, but better protect our spacecraft from space weather events and life on Earth, like our power grids and our communication systems.
The science, the spectacle, the serenity of the moment, a once-in-a-lifetime event. The next total solar eclipse visible from the contiguous United States will occur in August of 2044. In Kerrville, Texas, I'm Ivan Rodriguez.
In Plano, Texas, 105-year-old Laverne Beiser watched his 13th eclipse. Beiser drove with his family to Maine for his first one back in 1963. Then he traveled all over the U.S. and the world to see others. He set up cameras and telescopes so he and his family could see or watch the historic event together. Beiser's daughter said sharing this eclipse was as special as their family's first. The lifelong astronomy buff said this celestial event was fitting to be his lucky 13.
Scientists recorded animal sounds to study their behavior during an eclipse. Scientists with Southern Illinois University made audio recordings across the path of totality in Carbondale, Illinois. They say the research shows birds tend to quiet down and nocturnal animals start to vocalize. NASA funded the project. Researchers say the area will experience its next solar eclipse in the next 350 years. Here in Tuscaloosa, the University of Alabama hosted a watch party to view the solar eclipse. More than 100 people showed up at the quad to see the unique event. However, the clouds blocked the eclipse. Several students expressed disappointment about not seeing the eclipse.
I was just excited, and I didn't get to see anything. The clouds ruined it, and now it's about to rain.
I went to 2 different libraries, sold out of glasses, stood out in this crowd right here for probably another 20 minutes.
And me and my friends all came out here, waited in line to get glasses, and then we just stared at the sky and it was just black. That was it.
The university's libraries, along the Department of Physics and Astronomy, handed out solar eclipse protective glasses.
An investigation is underway after a part of a crane collapsed in Fort Lauderdale. It happened Thursday, killing 1 construction worker and injuring 3 others. Witnesses say the crane collapsed before the evening rush hour. The debris from the crane left a hole in the bridge, which shut down traffic for a period of time. After doing temporary repairs overnight, the city of Fort Lauderdale announced the bridge will reopen Friday after rush hour. The current plan is to close the bridge down again to do more in-depth repairs. City officials say it will occur during overnight hours within the next month. This is the 4th crane-related death in South Florida since 2018. And there's a new time frame when the channel blocked by the collapse of the Francis Scott Key Bridge in Baltimore will reopen. The U.S. Corps of Engineers announced they should have the Fort McHenry fully reopened by the end of May. Until then, the intended plan is to reopen part of the channel partially by the end of April. In the meantime, crews are in the process of removing wreckage from the site where a cargo ship hit the bridge. It collapsed on March 26 when the ship lost power. Authorities say clearing the channel will lead to reopening of the port to vessel traffic, but it will also allow for the continued search for bodies. 6 construction workers died during the collapse after they fell into the water. Only 2 of their bodies have been recovered so far.
11 people are recovering following a charter bus crash in Mississippi. Officials say most of the bus passengers were students from the University of South Carolina and members of a fraternity. The group was on their way Friday to a formal in New Orleans. 59 people were on board when a tire blew out on Interstate 10 in Hancock County. The accident resulted in a busted windshield and the driver was ejected. A passenger then took control of the bus and brought it to a stop. 9 people were taken to the hospital by ambulance and a helicopter took 2 others. There is no word yet on the extent of their injuries.
The deadline to file your 2023 taxes is less than a week away. Monday, April 15th is still the deadline to file your yearly tax return. If you fail and owe to file by then, the IRS will issue a 5% penalty for each month you are late. Remember, you can send your return to the IRS electronically or it must be postmarked by the 15th if sending by mail. You can file for an extension if you can't complete your paperwork by April 15th, and a new deadline will be October 15th.
A proposed ban would make giving money to the homeless from the roadways illegal in Louisiana. State Representative Dixon McMakin introduced House Bill 97 for what he says are safety reasons. If passed, it would make it illegal to give out cash to the homeless from the side of the interstate or in traffic. McMakin says the people handing out money are putting themselves and those around them at risk and holding up traffic. The city recently spent several $1,000s on a barricade under the Seacon overpass in Baton Rouge to help prevent litter, panhandling, and drug use. Some people in Louisiana have mixed emotions about the bill.
It would cut down on the congestion in an intersection, and also number 2, the person who is giving the money, let's try to keep them safe and let's the homeless people go through the proper channels of organizations here in the Baton Rouge area.
Individuals who would still like to give money to those in need are encouraged to donate to organizations and nonprofits. Oklahoma could soon become one of the states that raise the age of consent to 18. Representative Jim Olson says the bill aims to protect teenagers who may be in vulnerable situations. The current age of consent in Oklahoma is 16. Representative Olson also said he doesn't want to interfere with what may be considered normal. For example, some wondered what this may mean for teenagers who are close in age. It is still legal for an 18-year-old and 16-year-old to be in a relationship.
We don't want an older man, say a 35-year-old man who's a coach or an authority figure, to abuse his position with a 16-year-old to get her to consent. So we don't want that to happen.
Olson was also asked how he felt about the legal age of marriage with parental consent being 16. He said he does not recommend anyone under 20 to get married, but he does not want to make that a matter of law.
The Biden administration is trying a new approach to the student loan forgiveness. Find out what they're trying to plan, to help the debt, pay the debt.
And there's a ruling in the defamation case against Todd Chrisley. Find out the latest plus more when we come back.